Now, a new study by Ghanaian education researcher David Nyama has found that vice chancellors across Africa face growing challenges to academic freedom and university autonomy. Published in the International Journal of Educational Research, the research highlights how political interference, funding pressures, and governance structures continue to influence key decisions in universities across the continent. The study traces these challenges to colonial era controls over higher education and warns that external funding conditions and government involvement still shape how African universities operate today.
The research, published in the International Journal of Educational Research, examined the barriers to academic freedom and governance in African higher education institutions. According to the study, some of the challenges date back to the colonial era, where colonial authorities controlled university curricula and academic standards. The analysis suggests that this legacy has influenced modern governance structures, with government in many African countries continuing to exercise significant control over universities. In some cases, national leaders serve as chancellors of public universities, giving them considerable decisions. The study also points to historical examples, including Nigeria during the military era, when the federal government assumed powers to appoint and dismiss vice-chancellors. Vice-chancellors interviewed in the research say government interference remains a major obstacle to academic freedom and effective university governance. Some leaders expressed concern that political appointments often create tension and limit universities' ability to govern themselves. One vice-chancellor indicated that universities should ideally have the authority to manage their own affairs. The study also highlights the influence of external funding agencies, which sometimes attach conditions that may not align to the priorities of local institutions. Some vice-chancellors warn that some funding arrangements can introduce hidden interest and create new forms of dependency. Researchers say strengthening institutional autonomy, improving governance structures, and balancing external partnership will be essential to safeguarding academic freedom in African universities.
Meanwhile, the Vice Chancellor of Pentecost University, Kobde Japon Kodia, has urged newly admitted students to apply academic knowledge to real-life situations to support national development. Speaking during the university's matriculation ceremony in Accra on March 7, he told the 1,562 newly admitted students for the 2025-26 academic year that education must translate into responsible action and professional practice. The event formally admitted postgraduates, undergraduates, and certificate students into 7 faculties as junior members of the university.
The matriculation ceremony of Pentecost University formally admitted 1,562 students as junior members of the university for the 2025-2026 academic year. The group includes 137 postgraduate students, 1,175 undergraduate students, and 248 certificate and professional students across 7 faculties and schools. Addressing the student, the Vice-Chancellor emphasized that separating academic knowledge from practical living undermines national development. He explained that the country's biggest challenge lies in the gap between knowledge acquired in schools and how that knowledge is applied in everyday life. He indicated that if graduates fully understood and applied what they learned at the university, the nation would be a stronger position. Professor Ejapon Kodia also described matriculation as more than a ceremonial event, noting that it represents a commitment by students to uphold the values and missions of the institution. He added that education should lead the transformation, producing graduates who demonstrate integrity, competence, and social responsibility. The Vice-Chancellor cautioned students against dismissing academic knowledge as mere book learning, explaining that such attitude weakens professional practice and national progress. He further encouraged the students to approach their studies with discipline and purpose, stressing that the choice they make today will shape their future. The university also used the occasion to highlight new academic initiatives, including a certificate in moral and national development program and the introduction of new education programs aimed at strengthening teacher training and inclusive education.
And now, South Africa has launched a nationwide cattle vaccination campaign to contain a worsening outbreak of foot-and-mouth disease that is threatening the country's meat and dairy industry. The rollout began on Friday, led by Agriculture Minister John Steenhuisen, after more than 297,000 cattle were infected and over 120,000 killed. Authorities say the vaccination drive aims to curb the spread of the disease, restore export, and protect an industry facing trade bans and potential shortages.
Several countries, including China and Zambia, have already imposed bans on South African meat export due to the foot-and-mouth disease. Agriculture Minister John Steenhuisen officially announced the vaccination rollout on Friday. 1 million vaccine doses were recently delivered from Turkey, with additional shipments expected to arrive over the weekend. However, authorities acknowledge that the current supply falls short of the doses needed to vaccinate nearly 12 million cattle nationwide. The government aims to vaccinate 80% of the national herd by December to reduce outbreak by 70%. Officials say the strategy could eventually restore South Africa's status as a foot-and-mouth disease-free country with vaccination. The coastal province of KwaZulu-Natal has been identified as the epicenter of the outbreak, with more than 70,000 farms affected. The situation has now been declared a national disaster, allowing the government to release emergency funds, including about $25 million allocated for vaccine procurement. Veterinary experts warn the disease is already affecting cattle growth rate and feeding efficiency, while severe foot damage has forced farmers to euthanize hundreds of animals for welfare reasons. Authorities say the success of the vaccination program will be critical to protecting South Africa's livestock industry and preventing further economic losses.
We'll be back with news in Discovery after this short break. Stay with us.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Are you a university, college, high school, private organization, NGO, individual professor, instructor or facilitator seeking to take advantage of the numerous benefits of online education? Look no further. The AAU eLearn Africa LMS is a great opportunity to begin your journey to online course development and creation for teaching, learning, and training purposes. AAU eLearn Africa LMS, which is a partnership between the Association of African Universities and eLearn Africa, has made available ease to use online learning tools to all stakeholders within the educational ecosystem of the African continent. This is to enhance teaching and learning in the bid to expand online learning opportunities for students in Africa. The online platform is open and available for free to all stakeholders and facilitates virtual access to classes without needing the other tools such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, among others. For more information, visit www.elearnafricalms.com or contact us via aaulms@aau.org. aau.org or estherm@elearnafrica.com. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at AAU eLearn Africa LMS.
You're welcome back from the break. And now in Discovery, the Smart Africa Alliance has signed a strategic partnership with US-based technology company Midweek to support the development of national artificial intelligence infrastructure across Africa. The agreement was announced during the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. The partnership will launch a pilot program in 5 African countries to build sovereign AI systems, strengthen technical capacity, and support government in deploying AI-powered digital services in sectors such as healthcare, agriculture, education, and public administration.
Under the Artificial Intelligence Systems Initiative, the partners will launch a pilot program in 5 African countries. The program will focus on building national AI infrastructure and strengthening technical capacity under the oversight of the African AI Council. Officials say the project will deploy what are known as sovereign AI stacks. These are technological systems designed to give governments full control over data hosting, model development, and application deployment. This approach allows countries to develop artificial intelligence tools that comply with national regulations while addressing local development priorities. The 5 pilot countries expected to participate in the program will be announced in the coming weeks. Midweek will provide the technical expertise required to deploy advanced AI platforms capable of integrating African languages. The systems are expected to support digital public services in key sectors, including healthcare, agriculture, education, and public administration. As part of the project, the company will deploy its flagship artificial intelligence platform known as MKA1, which enables locally hosted AI ecosystems and reduces reliance on foreign cloud infrastructure. Analysts say the deployment of sovereign AI systems could play a major role in Africa's economic future. Research by McKinsey and Company suggests that artificial intelligence could generate up to $1.2 trillion in economic value for Africa by 2030. However, experts warn that much of the potential could be lost if countries fail to develop local infrastructure and technical talent.
We'll be back with news in sport and entertainment. Stay tuned. In sports, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations 2026 has been postponed just 12 days before its scheduled start in Morocco. In a statement released Thursday, the Confederation of African Football announced the tournament will now be played from July 25 to August 16, citing unforeseen circumstances. The competition, which also serves as a qualifier for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil, had originally been scheduled for March 17 to April 3.
The Confederation of African Football announced the decision in a statement on Thursday, saying the competition will be rescheduled due to unforeseen circumstances. The tournament, which had been scheduled to run from March 17 to April 3rd, will now take place from July 25th to August 16th. The competition also serves as a qualifier for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil, and Morocco had been preparing to host the finals for a third consecutive edition. However, uncertainty over the tournament's organization had created anxiety among players and fans in recent weeks. The Continental Governing Body stated that the postponement was intended to ensure the success of the women's competition, adding that preparations for the rescheduled event are already underway. The tournament will feature an expanded format with 16 teams. The group stage draw was conducted in January, although the full match schedule had not yet been released. The decision is likely to renew debate among the commitment to women's football in Africa. Previous disruptions include the cancellation of the 2020 Women's Africa Cup of Nations due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the delayed 2024 edition, which was eventually held in 2025. Former Nigeria captain Desire Oparanozie expressed disappointment over the repeated setbacks affecting women's football on the continent. She indicated that recurring disruptions raise concerns about the importance placed on the women's game. She also warned that the postponement could affect players physically and mentally, as many teams had already intensified preparations for the tournament. Several national teams, including Nigeria and Ghana, had begun training camps and international friendlies ahead of the competition. Officials say further details about the revised schedule and hosting arrangements will be communicated in the coming weeks.
In entertainment, Ghanaian rap star Sarkodie paid an emotional tribute to fellow musician Shatta Wale during the Rapperholic UK concert held on March 6, 2026 at the Royal Albert Hall in London. The sold-out show coincided with Ghana's 69th Independence Day celebrations and highlighted Ghanaian music on the global stage. Sarkodie praised Shatta Wale's perseverance in the music industry and recognized the international impact of his hit song, Kakai.
Ghanaian rap icon Sarkodie used his Rapperholic concert in London to honor fellow musician Shatta Wale during his Rapperholic UK concert. The event coincided with Ghana's 69th Independence Day and served as a major celebration of Ghanaian music on the global stage. Shatta Wale joined Sarkodie on stage during the performance, creating one of the most memorable moments of the evening. Addressing the audience, Sarkodie offered words of encouragement and praise for his colleagues' journey in the music industry. He expressed blessings for Shatta Wale and commended his resilience over the past decade. He noted that Shatta Wale's career story demonstrates the importance of perseverance, explaining that many people give up when faced with setback, but determination over time can lead to success. Sarkodie said he was proud of Shatta Wale's achievement and described his journey as a powerful life lesson that it is never over until it is truly over. He also highlighted the impact of Shatta Wale's hit song Kakai, which he described as one of the tracks that represents Ghanaian music internationally. According to Sarkodie, the song's strong reception abroad made it widely played on radio stations and helped promote Ghana's musical identity. The tribute added special significance to Rapperholic concert, which has grown from a local event in Ghana into an international showcase for West African music. Organizers say the London edition continues to expand the reach of Ghanaian artists and celebrates the country's cultural influence on the global music scene.
Hello Africa is your live breakfast show delivering informative, entertaining, and energizing start to your day.
Our expert reviews break down the headlines and help you make sense of today's news.
We bring you nothing but the most interesting highlights on our top African stories.
Plus lifestyle features, inspiring interviews, and the best on the continent.
Every episode is packed with stories that inform, inspire, and celebrate the spirit of the continent.
Catch us live every Monday at 9 a.m.
And be part of the conversation on our social media platforms.
Hello, Africa, bringing the continent to your morning.
business, Ghana's higher cocoa producer price is reportedly encouraging cross-border smuggling of cocoa beans from neighboring Côte d'Ivoire into Ghana. The warning was issued by Dr. Wisdom Kofi Dogbe, Managing Director of Cocoa Marketing Company Ghana Limited, during a discussion. He explained that the price difference between the two countries are creating incentives for illegal trade, which undermines production data and government revenue, while analysts also warn that increasing global competition could threaten Ghana's long-term position in the cocoa market.
Ghana's higher cocoa producer price is being blamed for an increase in cross-border smuggling from neighboring Côte d'Ivoire. Dr. Wisdom Kofi Dogbe, Managing Director of the Cocoa Marketing Company Ghana Limited, noted that while Ghanaian farm gate price is designed to support local farmers, the disparity in prices can undermine royal collection and distort accurate production data. Dr. Dogbe called for stronger border enforcement and greater cooperation between the two countries to address the growing problem. He also revealed that Ghana's cocoa producing industry is currently operating well below its full capacity due to financial and operational challenges facing local factories. According to him, achieving the government's targets of processing at least 50% of cocoa beans locally will require new investment and stronger collaboration with private sector partners. At present, Ghana processes about 23% of its cocoa output domestically. Analysis estimates this generates around $660 million annually. However, increasing local processing to 50% could raise revenue to about $3 billion, while processing 70% could potentially generate nearly $4.7 billion. Meanwhile, Vice President of Imani Africa, Kofi Bentel, warned that global competition in the cocoa sector is intensifying. He explained that new producers such as Brazil are expanding cocoa cultivation, increasing global supply and putting pressure on international prices. He noted that unless significant reforms are introduced, Ghana could face increasing challenges in maintaining its long-standing position in the global cocoa market.
International front, the Israel Defense Forces says it carried out overnight strikes on Mirabad Airport in Tehran on Saturday, targeting what it claims was a hub used to move weapons and money to militant groups supported by Iran, including Hezbollah. Israel officials say the operation destroyed aircraft allegedly used to transport weapons as part of a wider wave of attacks aimed at weakening Iran's support for regional armed groups.
According to the Israel Defense Forces, the attack struck Mirabad Airport on Saturday. Israeli officials claimed the airport had been used to transport weapons and money to militant groups backed by Iran across the Middle East. The military alleges that the facility played a role in supplying armed groups, particularly Hezbollah in Lebanon. Local footage circulating online showed large clumps of smoke and flames rising over the parts of Tehran's skyline following the strikes. Israel says the operation destroyed 16 aircraft believed to have been used to transport weapons. The Israeli military also reports that several Iranian fighter jets were destroyed during the same wave of attacks. The strikes were part of what Israeli officials describe as a broader overnight campaign targeting military-related infrastructure in Tehran. Iran's state media did not immediately acknowledge the reported strike on Mirabad Airport. Meanwhile, on Sunday, additional Israeli strikes reportedly hit oil depots and refining facilities in different parts of Tehran. It marks the first time such energy infrastructure has been targeted since the conflict began. The attacks triggered large fires across the city, sending thick black smoke into the sky and darkening parts of the capital. Authorities in Iran have yet to release detailed information on the damage caused by the strikes.
And that is all for the news. Let's take a quick recap of our headlines. In higher education, political interference threatens academic freedom in African universities. In health, South Africa launches mass cattle vaccination amid disease outbreak. In business, Ghana wants cocoa price gap fueling cross-border smuggling. In international, Israel strikes Iran airport in overnight attacks. And now, thank you very much for sticking with us on the AAU TV Midweek News. Get interactive with us on our dedicated news platforms, on social media, via Association of African Universities. My name is Mamikwa Otakwanyame.